Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two American blended whiskeys, two blended whiskeys. They're both 80 proof and they don't have a website listing. Okay, so this is Sunny Brook. I bought this in 2020, right as the scamdemic was starting. I was in Beaumont, Texas, and they were still having a restaurant open with people at a birthday party. But I was right when I was getting ready to come down on everybody and with the totalitarian response and the installation of the scamdemic. But I did buy this at Red Dot Liquors in Beaumont, Texas, and I saw it on the shelf, a liter bottle now, mind you, a liter bottle for $6.89. And I think there was only one or two bottles. And the girl at the checkout, the cashier said, I never seen anybody buy that one. I never seen anybody buy that one. And I was like, yeah, I believe it. But I bought it. And this is Kentucky blended whiskey, meaning all the whiskey must be from Kentucky. So they're not bringing in any from Indiana or Tennessee or anything. And there's the government inspector. And they always emphasize, if you look at the old advertisements for this product in the 1800s, 1930s, 40s, it'll say all of our whiskey is inspected by this government inspector. Their uniforms have changed over the years, but that's a meaningless thing, really, because all whiskey is produced under supervision of the U.S. government in the United States. Just like Canadian whiskey, a lot of bottles will say produced under the supervision of the Canadian government. Well, if it wasn't, then it would be an illegal product. Okay, so that's Sunny Brook. It's owned by Beam-Suntory these days. You can tell that's a Beam bottle, modern, inexpensive Beam liter bottle. But you'll never see any reference to Jim Beam on this bottle because they distance themselves from this. Age 4 years. 80-20 blend ratio for both of these. 80% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight whiskey. Here's American blended whiskey. Classic Club from I.W.A. Distilling, aged and mellowed in oak barrels. Yeah, so is every other whiskey produced in the United States. So they're telling you something they don't need to tell you because by law, it would have to be aged in oak. But anyway, it's cheap. I bought this for $13.99 at Total Wine and More. The price is going up to $12.99. What am I saying? $15.99. So I paid $13.99, but now it's $15.99. Total Wine and More. But then I did see it in another store online, like Vine. I think it was called The Vine or something like that. Liquor store in Maryland, Frederick, Maryland, and they had it for $12.49. $12.40. Good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Max Walt in the Russian Federation. Peace to you. Okie dokie. I'll pour it, show the whiskeys, then I'll turn the lamps on so it's not so dark. Maybe we'll get light from outside. It's supposed to be dawn, but it's still dark, dark, dark. 5:41 a.m. Central Standard Time. So there's the not popular Sunny Brook. It was popular, 80 years ago. Classic Club was popular never in history. It's just an obscure, inexpensive brand, and I've never been able to find out who makes it. I don't know what company produces it, so that's not in play. It's a mystery, Okay. Oh yeah, I know who produces it. I.W.A. Distilling. My mind is addled this morning. I was never able to find out when it was introduced. I think I'm speaking incorrectly. Okay, so it's amber, and this one's a little more gold amber. So this one's a little lighter. basic, you know, basic sweet corn, oak, maybe a little char, honeysuckle nectar. Same thing I always say, a little vanilla. Same old thing I always say. Okay, because they're so similar. Now I've gotten it right 11. I think I'm at 11-0 right now. 11 wins, 0 losses, or it's 10-0. It's one of those two. I haven't gotten it wrong. I'll check my stats. Same, maybe a little more char. Now remember, 3 years, 4-year age, not much difference. So could Classic Club be like Ancient Age, 3-year age, blended with grain spirits and bottled, grain neutral spirits and bottled? It could be, because I.W.A. Distilling is owned by the same people that own Ancient Age, and so it's possible they could just be taking maybe Ancient Age that wasn't age correct, you know, didn't come out right. Or I'm saying that, but maybe it was fine. Maybe it's just standard ancient, you know, standard Ancient Age or standard McAfee's Benchmark Old Number 8. Those are 2 Those are 2 brands, both 3 years old, 80 proof from Sazerac. Buffalo Trace, I.W.A. Distilling in this case. It's very possible that they're just taking Benchmark, blending it with grain spirits, both at 80 proof, so you wouldn't have to add or take, you know, you wouldn't have to add water, because I wouldn't, it would be 80-80, 40% alcohol, and bottling it. Fine. Sunnybrook, it's aged 4 years. Beam makes Jim Beam. Jim Beam is aged what? 4 years. Could they be taking regular old Jim Beam, blending it at 1 part Jim Beam, 4 parts grain neutral spirits, and bottling it? Yes, why not? Hey, easy, right? It's done. You say, what if they're using Old Granddad? That's also 4-year age, 80 proof. That's another option. But the problem there is that Old Granddad is a good deal more expensive than Jim Beam. I can find Jim Beam $12.99 a bottle. Old Granddad's $18.99. So that's a problem on that end. But we'll never know the answer. It's just speculation. I'm just thinking about it. So the aroma on these two is not much difference. There's not much difference. Now remember, Classic Club does not claim to be Kentucky whiskey. It says American blended whiskey, and it says that for a reason, because it's probably different whiskeys coming in from different parts of America, namely Indiana. But it could be from that Florida distillery. Could be. Probably isn't. Could be. But I would think it would be Indiana. Could be Missouri, but because there's some distilleries out in Missouri, western Missouri, but McCormick, right? Okay. So we just don't know. Cheers. Tastes kind of like Jim Beam. I got that in my mind now, right? That green wood, you know, that green, it's like the wood is not cured all the way. It's green and like cellar mold, like black mold in a cellar. You say, that's crazy. That's not what it tastes like. You're nuts. Yeah, yes and no. Yes, probably that description is crazy. But no, because I remember it and it always seems to pan out. I get it right. So there's got to be something to that. Max Bud Light says hi there. Hello there to you. I bet that's not your real name. Okay. Neither is Max Bud. All right. Now this has that paperiness, which is like corn husks. I don't think they would use corn husks in the product, but maybe they did and then filter them out as an added thing. That doesn't sound right. That sounds insane. But that's what it tastes like, you know. No, I mean, it just does. And if I'm honest, I think, you know, I think it's just like corn husks, something like that. Maybe white hominy grits. or yellow corn grits. You know, you can get that. You can get the yellow grits from Dixie Darling. Which I've never bought. They're probably good. I know Walmart sells cans of yellow hominy from Bush, Memphis, Tennessee, Bush beans. Yellow hominy, right there out the can. It's not bad. Put a little salt. Yeah, no, you don't need to put salt on. That's right. It's already got salt. You just put a little black pepper, maybe a little hot sauce, some onions in it. Have some meat on the side, and of course a green salad. You want your greens. Well, it's pretty good. You know, it's all right. Good little starch with your meal because you want your vegetables, fruit and vegetables, either or. Want your starch, potatoes, corn, rice, beans. You want your bread or grains, nuts, bread, grain. You want your meat and poultry or fish. Meat, poultry, or fish. You know, you want your meat because we're omnivores, and you want your sweets. You got to have sugar. You don't want sweets. A little chocolate, piece of chocolate cake after or something. So if you have a balanced diet and you don't eat too much, you probably be pretty healthy. People get on these fanaticisms, you know, where they'll say, I can't have any bread. I can't have any bread. And I say, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm on a diet. So it sounds like a bad diet to me. You know, to me, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not an expert. But I'm just saying, to me, it sounds like what? Oh, I can't have any sweets. It's like you're not going to have sweets. And then you're going around like feel sick all the time. You're on a diet, but you go around feeling sick all the time. Maybe something's wrong with the diet. Cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. Are cheaper whiskeys made more cheaply? Well, I would think so. Max says that Four Loko review was incredible. Your reaction was real. Wow, it stood up to you. My reaction was real. They're always real. And I was shocked because honestly, I thought it was going to be terrible. I thought this would be the worst Four Loko I've had. But I've got to re-examine some of those because I don't know about the real sugar, artificial sugar situation. See, that's got me perplexed. Because I had Four Loko Gold, Four Lokos Green Apple, Four Loko Electric Lemonade, Four Loko USA, I think it's called, you know, the red, white, and blue, or something like that, 4th of July version that they put out every Independence Day time. I've had the Four Loko Blue Frost, which I don't think they make it anymore, but they might make it just off the record, you know, like it's not listed on the website anymore. I've had the Four Loko sour grape and other sours and everything. Okay, but I never examined too carefully if it was with real sugar or not. I wasn't thinking along those lines. And then I noticed the last few times, like with the Cosmic Sour in collaboration with Warheads Company, it had sucralose in it. It said specifically sucralose, which is a nasty sugar substitute, and the thing made the thing terrible. You know, really was a failure, abject failure. So when I saw this sugar, it said artificial sweetener. I said, oh no, this is gonna be a nightmare. But then, shockingly, it scored an A, and I couldn't get over it. But I would not have bought it if I would have checked the label at Savannah Discount in Marrero, Louisiana, and seen artificial sweetener. I know right now I'd have put it right back on the shelf and wouldn't have bought it. I'm just telling you honestly, I would not have bought it. But I did buy it. I had already paid the $2 and something, so common sense, I'm gonna buy it because I bought it. You know, I'm gonna drink it because I bought it. Thanks, you're welcome. Okay, so that's how that played out. Initial taste, this I think is the Sunny Brook since 1891, been on the market since 1891, except for that little interruption called Prohibition, that another scam from thanks to the empire, US, whatever you want to call it, the US government over there in New York City and Potomac River. One of their worst scams, right? Prohibition. An exercise in totalitarianism. That was wonderful, right? All right. And this one from Who Knows When. I spent so much time trying to track down the introductory date of Classic Club. Cannot find a trademark date. It's funny though, because it says it's trademarked. It says registered trademark, but it's not listed in the trademark office. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But that being said, doesn't matter. No one cares. People say no one cares when I was introduced. No one cares about Classic Club, you might be saying. Well, I did look for video reviews for it, and that was basically non-existent. Couldn't hardly find written reviews, really. So, yeah, I guess it's pretty much definitely off the beaten path, so to speak. All right. Sunnybrook, it ain't much more prominent, let me tell you. You'll find a few video reviews, and I mean a very few, and you'll find here and there written reviews, but it's not too much more than Classic Club. Yeah. Oh, well, no big deal. Who cares? It's no big deal. It doesn't matter. I bought them. They exist. There they are. Paper. I don't mean like loose leaf paper or typing paper or copy paper, or printer paper. I don't mean like, it's just, but it's something like, to me, it's like I'm saying paper, but it's really corn husk or something. It's strange. Okay. Oh, now which one tastes better? All going. That one tastes better because I like the charred oak that's obviously there, which I think is coming from the Jim Beam 4-year age, and the product's aged 4 years. It's smooth. It's got a medium body. It's got the vanilla, sweet corn, everything that it's supposed to have. If you gave this to somebody and they didn't think about it too carefully, their first reaction would be, what bourbon is this? I just think they would think, what bourbon is this? Like a lot of Canadian whiskeys, if they're not played around with by adding too much flavoring or whatever, like that Harwood that I tried, that's coming up. That review's coming up. Harwood Canadian blended whiskey. If you just gave that to somebody just gave it to them, blind, say, here, you want drink this, and they tasted it, they would say, what bourbon is that? That's just what they would say. I think they would say, what bourbon is that? And it's probably mostly corn like bourbon anyway, and so forth. Okay, if you're making Classic Club sound like a redheaded stepchild, yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's a classic, and I don't think it's sold in any clubs. But it's one of those kind of like droll names. Classic Club is one of the whiskeys of all time. It is definitely one of the whiskeys of all time because it exists in time, and it's a whiskey. So that would make sense. Okay. I like your ratings. You're really doing a good job, just to let you know. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And I try to make simplified ratings. A, B, C, D, and F. Simple, like going to school or college. When I was in college, it was 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right? So anything below 60 was a failure. You need to quit school because you can't even get 60% correct. Anything below a 70 is a D, and you probably should quit school because you're a terrible student. Or maybe just as one test you made a D. Anything below a 70 is a D. Anything below 6, I'm getting it. Anything below 60 is an F. Anything below 70 is a D. Anything below 80 is a C. It's not good. It's average. You could tolerate it, but you wouldn't buy it, and unless you were so super cheap, you hate to spend money, so you could tolerate it. Okay. Anything below a 90 is a B. It's good, but it's just good. Like these things here, they're good, but you don't make a big deal out of it because it's just good, like most things. And then anything below 100 is an A. Well, it's excellent. This is like above and beyond normal. It's like excellent. Wow, this thing is excellent. I can't believe it. I bought it. It was so cheap. I heard people talking dog about Evan Williams. Don't drink Evan Williams. It's the worst. I heard people saying that. Then I went and bought a bottle of Evan Williams. Oh man, this stuff is great. What are these people talking about? Are they crazy? That's the kind of example there. And then above 100 is world class. It's beyond belief. It's like better than perfect. That's my scoring range. Have I ever tasted anything better than perfect? Yeah, but not much. Maybe 5 times. and I've done thousands of videos, maybe 5 times. And if I'm pushing it 6 times, but I don't know if it's been 6 times. 6 times. That's how rare above 100 is, okay? So it's basically like those don't really exist, but they're out there. How would your scoring affect DEI? What are you talking about? I don't understand your question. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Maybe you mistyped. Okay, so that's the Classic Club. I think with that paperiness, it's got a distinct, and it's kind of has that Sazerac Buffalo Trace yeast strain note that I've noticed. It's like Little Debbie's snack cakes, you know. If you eat them enough, they have a commonality. It's like a certain yeast profile. I don't care if you get the chocolate, the doggone pecan, walnut, vanilla, raisin. Eat any of them and they all taste alike. And the reason is, I think Little Debbie McKee Foods uses a single yeast strain for any of their baked goods. You say, well, what about Hostess has a commonality to it? Yeah, I agree with that. Hostess all kind of taste the same too in their little realm, you see. It's like Marvel Comics and DC Comics. You can always, DC always looks different than Marvel. Like the artwork is never the same. Like it always looks different. You know, even if Gene Colan does Marvel and he goes to DC, is like somehow it's different. Probably because it's a different inker, you know. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't look the same. All right, enough of that. Classic Club. Got it. Still at 100%. I can't believe it. Am I giving credit to myself? Well, I mean, I am giving credit to myself because I did it, you know, but I think the more credit, most of the credit goes to Classic Club. I think the credit really goes to the product because it is distinctive. It has stood out every time. Now, is it distinctive on the good side or the bad side? Well, you know, that's up to you because I'm talking about paperiness, so that could be interpreted in a very negative way, and I would understand that, and I would accept that. But I'm not really interpreting it in a bad way. Is it unusual? Yeah, definitely unusual. But I don't think it's not bad. It's not bad. So I'm really impressed with this product. Just goes to show you, can you find an extremely cheap product and it turns out to be pretty dang good? Yeah, like for instance, what I'm holding in my left hand at this very moment. There's an example. All right, well, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, got another blended whiskey going up against Classic Club. How's it going to work out? Time will tell, I suppose. Bye-bye, everybody.